You know what? I think sometimes you and I, we find ourselves in positions to make a difference in the world around us, but we end up doing nothing at all because we're afraid to take a risk. We're afraid of failure, or we're afraid of rejection. We're afraid of losing our comfort and safety and security. And so what do we do as sinful human beings? We come up with all sorts of excuses and reasons as to why we can't handle or deal with the situation that's in front of us. But friends, here's where I want to encourage you this morning. Our spiritual DNA tells a very different story. You see, when God looked down on his creation and he saw a world that was broken and sinful and longing for salvation, he had an opportunity to make a difference. And instead of coming up with all sorts of excuses and reasons as to why he can't deal with the situation that's in front of him, God took it upon himself to come down into this world, knowing that he would be rejected and scrutinized and arrested and beaten and flogged and nailed to a cross. Friends, God knew the risks, but those risks didn't stop him, because he knew that in order to make a difference, in order to save us from our sin so that we can spend eternity with him, those were the things he had to do. You see, friends, as followers of Jesus, as followers of the one who created us and redeemed us, we are not called to just simply float through life existing and breathing. Instead, just like Esther, God has placed us in specific positions, strategic positions for such a time as this. And friends, here's the key. We are to use those positions to make a difference in the world around us, even if sometimes that involves taking a risk. And friends, as we saw today with Esther, not only was Esther ready to make a difference, she was willing to take a risk. And so check this out. After 3 days of fasting, the morning she got up, she put on her robes, and she headed towards the inner court. And you can imagine her wondering, if the king puts out the scepter, I'm spared. If he doesn't, I'm dead. And she got to the inner court, and there was King Xerxes, sitting in his throne with his gold scepter in his hand. And knowing that she hadn't been summoned, Esther, she started to walk toward the king. And friends, you know what the king did? We'll find out together next week.